Welcome, Japan.
Welcome again to another edition of Why Come Japan. I'm your host, Mr. Radrey, where I collect guests like Pokemon and I ask them questions on my show. Actually, no, that's very cynical. I shouldn't say that. Wow. No, in all seriousness, a show where I interview creative people doing creative things, and I don't know, hopefully we get a meaningful conversation out of it. And today on my show is Mr. Remino, or is that the name you go by?
I go by Remino or Remy. Remino on the internet mostly, but Remy in real life doesn't really matter. Yes.
Okay.
It's me either way.
So I guess what's the best handle we could give you? Like you're a web guru or a YouTuber? What's the prefix? Not prefix. The moniker.
The prefix.
Whatever
moniker.
Name you want
Okay,
to go
moniker.
by. You go by nowadays?
An artist.
An artist.
Actually, I don't really know, to be honest. Like I did say that on my website at some point, artist, but I didn't really know how to put it because I never studied art or anything like that. So, but then again, I've kind of done a few things here and there. Like I wrote stuff. I do web programming as well. I did some acting. I did some video editing, and so just call me Remy, and we'll be fine with that. Whatever.
Needs no introduction. The man who does stuff and things.
That's what I say. Do things.
And who's a Homo sapien. I guess
yes.
I'm a Homo sapien too. So I guess
I'm a homo.
Count.
We're all homos.
Secretly, only on the internet.
Yes.
It's the only place where you can be a homo and nobody cares. Well, maybe
that's right.
Some people care.
Well,
what am I saying?
We don't care about those people. So
All right. So you've gone by, I want to say, several names, several monikers before. You're once a cross-dresser under. Can I say cross-dresser? You're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, cross-dresser under the alias of Remiko, and you're now a web guru, as we discussed, and off the record we talked a little bit about how this phase of your life is kind of over at the moment. Why do you say that?
Well, it's not really over, I would say. It's just every time something ends, like it's just being transformed into something else, I think. So
oh really?
Like what you're saying, the Remiko thing is like I was doing that for a couple of years. I was doing some stand-up comedy while being Remiko as well. Well, a little bit, like not that much, but and I was mostly doing videos as well, and that was fun for a while. I mean, like just exploring like that part of like part of humanity, like woman.
Just
but in that sense, not really like talking to them, more like walking their shoes, literally, and it was kind of interesting. But it came to a point where like, okay, that was interesting. I kind of got my fit of anthropology out of that. Okay, good. But after a while, it's like, well, I'm starting to get dick pics, and people want me to always cross-dress for them. So I'm like, well, this is not really fun for me anymore. So I'm gonna stop this.
So the whole sexual side about it kind of was a major turn off. Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Like, I mean, people like at some point they always consider like transvestites or crossdressers as something just purely sexual, and it was like there was nothing sexual out of it for me. So like that was pretty awkward sometimes. So for me, it was more like a character, more like a vehicle to allow myself to explore like what kind of persons we have within us. So I did that, and yeah, I had a thrill out of that. As for the web programming, you were saying like web guru. I'm not web guru anymore. Like I'm still a web programmer. Like that's my cash cow. I'm not gonna say no to that. I mean,
yeah,
sure. Like,
you got to eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of the other things that I do is just like hobbies. I can't really get money out of that. But that thing though, I've been doing that for like 20 years, and I'm pretty good at it. I mean, I'm so good. I can bitch about it every day and talk down on it, just complain about it all the time. Yet I can go online at any time point, just say I'm looking for a job, and people will just come to me with jobs. So You know, that's
Wow.
that's how I got my last job, like starting this April. Like I got a new job that way.
Can't argue with
Uh,
that.
yeah, I mean, like I get that, I get paid, and that allows me to invest in things that I want to do, especially money wise. You know.
So wait, you don't consider yourself a web guru, but you still do like web development.
Well, that's the thing that I've mentioned before. Like I didn't not on my channel, but I did tell that to some of my friends before.
Oh, okay.
It's more like a lot of web developers that I meet, especially today, they see programming as a whole life, a whole lifestyle, I would say. Well, for me, it's always been like just a tool. So I mean, I use that tool at work. It gets me money. It gets me some career. And when I'm done with my work, I go home and I'm not programming anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I take it, you know, like, so that's why, like, when, like, I often make jokes about it. You probably read that before, but I often make jokes about web
Remy makes
development.
Remy makes some great jokes about web development. We'll talk about one few here in a bit.
Yeah, so I often talk about that, and it's like how, like, it's so everywhere today, right? I mean, everybody's got a phone in their pocket, for God's sake. So you know, some web stuff's gonna go somewhere. And
True.
nowadays, it's like anywhere you go, the moment that somebody knows that you're a web developer, like you have like tons of people coming at you, either now or like 6 months from now, just popping out from nowhere and just asking you to make them websites. And I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't have time or the interest in that. Leave me alone. Like, just come to me, ask if I want to, I don't know, like do like an extra role in a movie or like participate in some music production or something, like some other hobbies that I have that I want to expand. That would be interesting. But the web programming, like, leave me alone. You know, like I already have my job and I'm happy with that. So yeah.
Well, who are these people that just randomly find you? They're like, I mean, I guess maybe I should ask, like, who's like the weirdest person you've ever had come up to you, or like if you had to like say this one's the weirdest story ever.
Weirdest, like I guess they're kind of all the same, so I don't really have one weirdest story. But
Okay, so they
the
all kind
one, yeah, they kind of all blend in. But like the what I usually get is people who I add on Facebook and I forgot about them completely.
okay.
And like 2 to 6, 7 years from now, they just appear from out of nowhere and say, "Hey, long time no see, buddy." I'm like, you're just coming here to ask me to make a website, right? Yeah, block. Like, I have no interest in that. They're not my buddies. They're not my friends. I don't want to expand that partnership further. I'm done.
And they want it for free, right?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they promise they will pay me, even though I know they will not, or they will just argue or more like negotiate, like how much they should owe me after I give them the invoice. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. You know,
Well, making a website, it's not that hard nowadays, right?
that's the one thing. I mean, it's pretty easy to just go on. Like, you have a couple of services out there. You just go on there and
Like
they build the site all for you. They
like
even have like the
Squarespace or something.
Squarespace or anything like that. You have like parts where like they even like allow you to build like an e-commerce site and everything. And I'm like, why don't you just give them a go? I mean, besides, like, when it comes to websites, people would have gone on your website out of curiosity back in like late '90s, early 2000s. But nowadays, like, people don't care, because people, like, the first thing they're gonna look for, if they look for you, like, yes, they'll try Google, but often if they try Google, the first thing they'll see is not really your website. It's gonna be your Twitter account. It's gonna be your Instagram. It's gonna be your Facebook. So making a website is really just like that center point where, like, you can put links to your other profiles online. But other than that, it's really, really hard to get people on board and get them to come to your site and actually do something on it, even like buy something.
Hmm.
So good luck with that. You know, people are not really interested in that anymore. Like, so yes, you kind of have to find. So I imagine today, if you will like put your videos on a custom website instead of YouTube, that will not fly. So you have to use those third-party services now. They are well established. You have the community on there. You have the means to publish something or to sell something. So you might as well just go on there instead.
Oh, right. Well, what is a part of like the website that nobody wants to do?
Uh, like you mean like on my side or?
Yeah, on your side. Like, what is it like? What do you think the appeal is like having you do the website? Like they saying, "Oh, I know Remino. He knows art, man.
Well,
I
that's the
gotta go
thing,
with
right?
him."
Like I'd love to put my creative angles on that. Like on like if I build a website, I would love to understand the client, what they're trying to sell, or what they're trying to promote, and go with their personality if I know them well, or if I know their content well, and from that be able to like make a design that reflects them, that reflects what they do, and that may be attracting customers or visitors on their site. That would be good. But I'm sure, I'm sure you've read comic strips like from the Oatmeal, right?
Hmm.
Because the Oatmeal was also a web developer before, and now like he just wants to write and do comics. Um, and he explained the same problem. Is like you have that great idea, like the first thing they do often is like laugh at their old site that they have, and then you look at the site like, yeah, it looks kind of like crap, but you don't want to say anything because often they made it because they had no resources, so they made it that way. And so, okay, well, you try to do something with that. So you come up with something, you come up with the design, you come up with the user experience, you come up with how the users will connect to the site with the product or the content, and you as a creator or as a seller. But when you show them that, they just turn everything around, and then they're just like, "Oh, well, I want you to change that one pixel here, and I don't like that font. Put Comic Sans instead. Put some gradients and rainbows and animated GIFs, please. Make it terrible again." Say, well, this is not what I want to do. You can't pay me how
Wait,
much you want, but this is not interesting at all.
don't tell me people actually ask for Comic Sans. You're joking, right?
Uh, that's the thing. Like they don't really ask for Comic Sans, but sometimes they did get revisions before, and they did apply that font without knowing it was Comic Sans.
I
That's
like that
fun.
one, the one that everybody
Yeah,
hates.
and I mean, as my own reputation, do you really think I'm gonna make a website that has Comic Sans text on it and then show that to other people? No, this has no like lasting value for me, so I'm not gonna do that. You know.
Right. Okay, so going back to the whole Remiko thing,
Yes.
what was the origin of that? Was it just one day you're like, I mean, kind of like something like Monty Python, or like, I just kind of want to try on women's clothes and just see what that's
Well, for me, it was a little bit more personal because, like, I always thought it was kind of like in my mind, was like more like a like platypus of genders in a way. Like, I know it's kind of fucked up to say,
No, no, I
but
mean, it's 2018, yeah.
it's 2018, and you still have some people out there. That's okay. Um, but anyway, like, it just in my mind was like a lot of people don't really wonder this; they don't really think about it. But me, I do. It's just like you have that body of yours that you didn't ask to be born in it, so you just go with it, right?
Right.
um and then when you start thinking about it, it's like you go like, yeah, I went too deep with that. Like I often think too much, and I started thinking like, well, what makes a man and a woman? Is it really just the genitals? Okay,
Maybe.
well, I will go with that. We'll see what happens if I do something completely different. And so yeah, I started to think like, well, it's true. Like throughout my life, I was never the most masculine man. Like
Hmm.
I was kind of like more like even where I grew up, like everybody was listening to country or metal music. So that's it. And for me, it was always more like electronic or that sort of thing. Even the stories I was like writing sometimes, like fiction, all that was more like like putting more emphasis on like some female characters at some point, or that sort of thing. And because of all those things that I've done before, like some guys would come to me and say like, kind of criticize that I was not masculine enough,
Hmm.
and I'm like, well, fuck you guys, I don't care. That doesn't mean anything for me. So I started putting that around, and like later in life, when I finally was a bit more comfortable in my body, I just like I lost a lot of weight and all that. So I thought, hey, what if I just put a dress? Well, I shaved first,
Right, right,
then I
right.
put it on, and so I was like, could be a character because I did characters before that. like all my life I did like at some times in my life I always did like incarnated some character, and people just
Right.
went with it. I'm like, okay, well that could be fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that doing that Remiko character was allowing me to explore like more like a feminine side of myself, and I thought that was pretty interesting because like not just for myself, but also because you project that entire different persona of you, people tend to react differently to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like a lot of men knew that I was a man, you know, they were flirty. That was kind of
Okay.
weird. That was creeping me out a little bit. It was like, wow, that's what women have to deal with every goddamn day, and I'm experiencing that firsthand.
Do you think you made a good woman?
Yes,
Really?
I did. Well, I like you know I had a big chin, whatever. Like appearance wise, like okay, but more like you know personality. I thought, I got this, so I was proud of myself. You know how many people can have that chance of saying like, hey, I walked down in a dress down Harajuku and Shinjuku, and some guy from Nigeria told me I had big boobs. That was weird as well, but whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. You know, that sort
Okay.
of thing. It's weird. It's weird, but I like weird, so I went with
Try
it.
anything once, right?
Yep. Some people will get a thrill from extreme sports or whatever, but me is more like that sort of experience, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever get like you have like some sort of like imposter syndrome while trying to do that character?
Kinda, I would say, but mostly among, I would say, trans women. Because among women, like women were like really accepting of that. Men was like, kind of like 50-50. But when it came to like that, and I'm talking more mostly like cis people, of course. But when it came to trans women, it's like you have some who really liked me for doing that, and you have those who really hated me. Oh my god, I was making fun of them for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, you just have so many different kinds of people in the world, so you just go with what you have, and that's it. If people want to criticize, well, you're just born this way.
You ever feel like sometimes the Remiko character got more attention than you feel like your own character?
Like more than me as a guy, you mean?
Yeah, like you ever feel like, nah,
Yeah.
this isn't really me. I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when I started doing that, then like there was a whole shift of people around me that I had like tons of people like blocking me off Facebook, for example, because I just did that or that sort of thing. And I thought, well, so be it. I mean, that just revealed like what kind of person they are, you know. Um, as for like I was doing that for a while, like just going out as a woman and all that, doing things on stage as a woman as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, until a point where like I thought I made some friends, for example,
Okay.
and among some of them, they would actually be disappointed if I came out as a guy.
Okay.
And I thought, well, this is just like the total opposite than the other people who get creeped out because when I come out as a girl, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm like, well, at that point, like I thought I already made the whole circle, like just exploring all this,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the reasons why I just like stopped because I thought,
Right.
well, I explored this, it's not really fun for me anymore, so yeah, so I'll just take that knowledge that I gained and put that into other projects that I'll have later.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if I was doing something like I feel like I'd be losing a sense of myself, opposed to like everybody just liking this character. But I guess a lot of actors kind of feel that way at some point
Mhm.
in time in
Like
their
they,
life.
well, it's like you look at Rowan Atkinson, for example, Mr. Bean. At
Mhm.
some point, he tried everything he could to break out of that Mr. Bean persona. Like because people kept associating the actor with the role, which isn't always true, but uh, but humans are humans. Like when they associate it with something, they just keep that association, and you just have to deal with it, I guess.
Okay, so you've kind of you've moved on from that. So you've moved on to more like the Remino. I mean, how long has the Remino brand been around for?
It's been there forever. I mean, like,
Since like your early 20s? Is that when you started it?
no. I mean, like, thinking like I was like probably in high school. Been there for a while. Um, the Remino brand, is not sure if you can call it a brand or not, but
You're not like Gucci yet,
well, I'm not
Someday.
selling fashion. I'm selling personality.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like, I'm just being sarcastic, but like,
Who says that? Who says they're selling personality?
well, more
Does
like,
Gucci say that?
well, it's more like, like when it comes to the Remino brand, like you say, like I have my own logo, I have my own like colors, and I mean, that's just the styling, but I mean, underneath that, you have all the content that I make and the sort of content that I make as well. People always expect some humor out of me or that sort of thing. Um, like for me, I just keep doing this because I don't know. Like in the world we have today, like just a handful of corporations around the world will own like any creative like, franchises they call them now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just like I went a few weeks ago, like actually last month. I went to see Black Panther. Okay.
Okay.
And every time I go see a Marvel movie, like which is rare because I don't really like superhero movies usually, but that one I made an exception. That was pretty good.
Okay.
It's just you go to the theater, okay, and the first thing they show you is the trailers, of course, and it's just that big festival of Disney just telling you in your face, like rubbing it in your face, that they own everything. They just go for like at least half an hour with trailers of like Marvel, Disney movies, Star Wars, just to like brag that they have you by the balls, that
Okay.
any pop culture you're going to talk about now will be about them. So you have those like corporations just like owning all those creative franchises and all the people around that just spending all their lives talking about it. And at the meantime, you have very few people actually just coming up with their own stories, their own characters, their own like brand, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. Like, I mean, I know I'm very small. I know I'm probably never gonna be popular, but I have to do this at least for myself. Just put it out there. Just like show what I do outside of work, outside of anything else. Just my creative side. Just put it out there, and this is that part of me. It's not big, it's not fancy, it's not polished, but I did that, and nobody else is saying it.
So how do I become like a well, how do I even turn that into a name? A Reminoer? Or there's not real like I mean, I guess your only real service is web development, right?
Well, that's what I get as a job usually. And like I did other things before. I did narration as well. I did some writing as well. Um, so how can I put it? Like, yes, the web development thing is the biggest one because I've spent so much time in it that I can actually exploit like the experience that I have and get revenue for that. As for the narration and the writing, for example, while I'm not that vested in it, at least not yet, because, well, first of all, I already have a job that's paying. And
Right.
second, it's like, well, do I really want to do those things that I was doing as a hobby and turn that into yet another job that will be made for someone else and not myself again?
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why, like the programming, yes, like I keep that on the side so I can get revenue, and then it would do other things that I want to do.
All right. So now I hope you don't mind, but there was one post you made on Facebook. I know Facebook's personal, and I know you're not really supposed to I don't know.
No, that's
Share,
fine.
share personal information. But there's one post you made a while ago that I'd like to have you narrate here live during the interview. And for some context, I should probably mention that this post was written in December 21st, 2016.
Wow.
Do you want me to send it to you here? I'll send it to the chat here. Not
Okay.
in the YouTube chat, but like the Google Hangout chat here.
Google Hangout chat. Okay.
Yeah, if you could, because I've read all these things, like your Facebook posts and your tweets and everything.
Wow, you're
But
that patient.
I'm only hearing, my own voice. I'm not hearing your voice. This way, it'd be more authentic if I heard it from you.
Well, now that's a service I should do. I should just like narrate my stuff and sell the MP3s. Okay, you want me to read that? Oh my god, yeah. 2016, you said, or yeah, because like things changed in there, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
right.
take as long as you want. Get a glass of water, however you want to read it.
I will take a glass of not a glass, a plastic bottle of water. A half empty, actually three-quarters empty.
I got to learn how to get my keying down pat to make my background look like yours. Because I'm like looking at like what's his name, Simon Nochanama. It's like he's really got to work on that keying, man. It takes me out of it. It's like Tim and Eric.
Oh boy, he does all this stuff. Then he puts the Comic Sans fonts here and there. And like
wait, he puts in Comic Sans fonts. Jesus Christ!
I don't know. I don't know. That's not Comic Sans, but it's just like the fonts he puts. Like it reminds me so much of like word art. You know what I mean? Like from Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
With like the fake 3D and like makes me chuckle anyway. All right, so you want me to read that post?
All right, yeah, read that post.
You'll be able to hear it in my voice.
It really made my day.
Okay. I saw an old, frail, homeless man in Shibuya. He was cold and shivering alone underneath the train tracks. I offered him my coat. He refused. I offered him some money. He refused. He asked, "Are you married?" I told him I was. He nodded and continued. My life is not worth saving, as it ended many years ago after the sudden painful death of my wife and my 2 kids in a fire accident. If you safely return home to your loved one tonight and care for her, this will make me happy. He smiled, and I smiled back. We exchanged a glance of understanding. I nodded as a tear rolled down my cheek. I do have one wish, he added. It was something my family and I hoped to have for many years, but we couldn't do that on our own. I wasn't able to find anyone to help. What is it? I asked. He answered, will you make me a website? Web development.
maybe what is it? I don't know. I guess maybe you have to have some context. I mean, knowing that you're a web developer, but I guess it really does work. It's really great. I love that one.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad that post from 2 years ago stuck in your mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It's like
it
when
tells
I think
me I'm a good writer somehow,
Like, I gotta ask. You said you did stand up before, right?
Well, actually, I went to the Santa Con, so I dressed up as Santa. Well, I mean,
Santa
halfway.
Con. What the hell is that?
Santa Con. Like one of my friends, Gregor, he has that event going on once a year, of course, around Christmas.
Here in Japan.
Yeah, here in Japan. Last year was around Shinagawa, actually. So everybody dresses up as Santa Claus, guy or girl, and we just go and do some bar hopping, and that's really fun. We just scream ho 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 to everybody around us. Some people laugh, some people are freaked out, but it's all in good fun. Pretty good. So it will happen again this year, I'm sure. You're gonna have to watch out for that. Santa Con.
Santa Con. So wait,
Santa
it's like a traveling show, like a show where you walk up and you you go different places?
Well, it's not really a traveling show. It's really just bar hopping in Santa Claus outfits.
Okay.
But Gregor does ask that everybody's wearing like a full suit, not just a hat, a full Santa outfit. That's required. That's important. Okay, so if you come this year, you better do that. Yeah.
Sorry, so anybody can join it?
Of course you can join it. Everybody can join it as long as you dress up as Santa Claus.
As long as you dress him as Santa Claus.
Yes. Yes.
But this isn't really stand up though, is it?
That's not stand up. It's just us walking outside. That's it. I mean, that's not stand up.
Okay, but, so you've never done any stand up then?
Stand up. Well,
like stand up comedy. I mean.
Well, yeah. Well, as Remiko, for example, I did it a couple of times, but I mean, mostly during that show was mostly for like drag queens, right? So they didn't really expect stand up, so it was mostly me lip syncing to some stupid song and going with it. The song that I used to lip sync that they preferred was, Ylvis in I think Norway.
No.
That comedy duo. I mean.
Okay. No, I'm unfamiliar with it.
Well, you heard about the Fox, whatever.
Like, what does the Fox say? That song?
They did that.
Okay.
Okay. They did another one. Called. Actually, I forgot the title, but it's like a romantic song. It's almost like a musical, but then it breaks to dubstep. So, if you look for Ylvis dubstep, you'll know what I mean. And people loved me for doing that on the stage. It was a lot different from the other stuff, but yeah.
So it's kind of like a karaoke thing.
That thing, yeah, because like the thing is, like I was not the organizer of that event. I mean, I was co-hosting for a while. That event was called Tokyo Closet Ball. So one of my friends, Taylor, is hosting that event.
Right.
I think that appeared in the Japan Times last year, so maybe there's a bit more recognition for that now. But so he based it on RuPaul's Drag Race in the US. Okay. But me, I want to do something different because I'm like, if you're gonna do like something like as a foreigner in Japan doing drag, you might as well just do your own thing, not based on somebody else's. So that's why I did that, But coming back to stand-up, no, I never did stand-up comedy, although I've been thinking about it for a long time. Like, I want to try it. Not sure when, not sure how, not sure where, but it will happen. I guarantee
I'm sure there's a lot of comedy clubs here in Japan. I mean, you could probably
but they're so good. I mean, what if I go there and I flop? I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to fail once. Actually, I'll make sure that I'll make everything I can to fail the first time. So then I'll be okay.
I guess, but maybe the point is like if you fail, you have to make a joke out of it about how like, wow, that went over well. Like, guess there's no fans. You like that? All right. Well,
I like doing that, but I'm mostly deadpan. So, like people like they don't really know if I'm joking or not. That's the part I like. That's the part I like the most.
You'd be kind of like what's his name? Louis Anderson. You've heard some of his stand up, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Where it's like he just like constantly just makes fun of himself. Where it gets to the point where I remember listening to interviews with him where like it would say people would start coming up to him saying, "Are you okay? Are you all right? Like, you really hate yourself that much?" Like, no, I'm joking. It's all joke.
Well, see, that would probably happen to me because the videos that I put up on my channel, they're very sarcastic. Obviously, they're very like it's mostly comedy, but it's a little bit dark humor. It's a bit parody. It's a bit, a little bit of everything. And like often when I put up a video, I'll always get one person coming up to me and ask like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything all right?" I was like, "I was just making fun of something." So if I can catch people like that, I think I'm good. So no problem.
Yeah. So there's something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, please. Anything.
A big part of your life has been dedicated to talking about how do I even set this up? All right, so because the show's called Why Come Japan, right?
Okay. Yeah.
How do you think it compares to your brand, Where From? And And I got to ask, is that T-shirt still available? You still have it, right? It's for
That
sale,
T-shirt
right?
is still available. Not sure if I have the link though. I'm gonna try to get it. I think it's on Teespring. Let me check. But yeah, like what happened is pretty much since last year, I think, I started making jokes about where from, because like one of the things you get asked all the time by Japanese people to a foreigner is where from, because it's so important, you know. And like I don't really hate. Actually, no, I hate the question. There you go.
Everybody does. Well, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I hate to even bring this guy up, but like, what's his name? The guy who, what's that guy's name? Debito. Like, he's always been like, he's like the go-to person whenever you talk about, if you're trying to make an argument where you feel bad as a foreigner living in Japan. I don't know. I'm not sure how to put this in the words, but
I don't feel bad.
I don't like, they call it a microaggression. You consider it a microaggression?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to put it. The thing is, like, I'll try to explain it. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got time? Okay, all right.
Got plenty of time.
Of course, when you move here in Japan, everything is new for you. And when a Japanese person comes to you and asks you where from, you're excited. You have that opportunity to talk to someone and make a friend, even though you're Japanese as shit. So you go ahead and talk about where you're from and everything. So I'm from Canada, and like, oh yeah, Canada's so great. It's cold nature, blah. You know. So that's the beginning when you move in Japan. So when you fast forward 9 years later, and I'm sure that's true for a lot of people, you're tired of always repeating the same thing about your country.
Right.
And in my case, like, for example, I went back to Canada for like a month last summer. And that was my first time in Canada in 8 years. Okay. And visiting the country, that's when I realized, like, wow, I don't have a lot of things left for me here. So if I would actually move back from Japan to Canada again, I would have to rebuild my life once more, you know, like I did here. So that said, now when a Japanese person asks you, like, so where from, you know, and the way they ask it too, I mean, that's another thing, because like sometimes, like usually when I get asked that, like if it's at a party and people are there to actually chat and get to know you,
yeah, it is always at the randomest places. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, a party and all that, I don't mind so much, but to give you an example of how random it can be,
I got to hear this.
Oh yeah, you gotta hear that, because maybe you read it before on my Facebook, but I'll tell you anyway. It was that one old lady at that coffee shop that I often go to for breakfast, because I go on my way to work, so I stop there for breakfast, right?
Okay.
And sometimes when I do have some extra time for myself, I'll listen to music, my earbuds, and read something on my iPad. You know, when you read like this, listen to music, like, don't bother me, I'm in my bubble, so you don't exist anymore. Okay, so all right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's often older people. Like, I can't understand that maybe they never left Japan and they're curious and all that, but whatever. You listen to that, and that one time, for example, I was like just drinking my coffee, just like reading music and all that stuff, and all I hear is like, America. It was muffled. America, 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 and like it went off like a dozen times, like America, America, and then I turned and made eye contact with that lady, and it turns out she was talking to me. Kept asking me if I was from America. America. I take off my earphones. What? America? No, Canada. Oh.
The most awkward conversation.
And then right after that, I just said Canada, and she then goes like, "Oh, your Japanese sounds good." I was like stunned. I was like, how's the logic? I didn't want to engage in further conversation.
Yeah,
but yet I wanted to know, like, how can you tell my Japanese was so good because I just said the name of my own country? So anyway, I just let it down. I just nodded with like that smirk saying just piss off, you know, and I just like went on to my business. So that's one time, but like a week after, that lady was back there again. Again, earphone.
Saying the same thing.
Well, not the same thing, but I was listening to music again, whatever, you know. And all I see, all of a sudden, sitting between my iPad and my face, is that hand just coming with that lump of vegetables, like just tied up in some straw or something. Just like, hey, tabaru, tabaru. What the fuck? So I just get my earphones. I was like, what? Like, tabaru, kirai, you hate this? You hate this? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, why are you shoving vegetables in my face? Like, I can guarantee you the third time I saw her in the restaurant, I just like made sure I moved, like I sat the furthest away, so I didn't have to deal with her again. But yeah, so that's the weirdest times you get the where from's, right? And when you do, they always talk about like I'm from that small province in Canada called New Brunswick.
It's a Newfoundland, right?
No, New Brunswick.
Oh, it's just New Brunswick. Is that near
Newfoundland? Newfoundland is further away. Okay, it's further east. It's the furthest east of Canada. So,
all right.
You have the Maritimes, which is like next to Maine. Next to Maine, you have New Brunswick. South, you have Nova Scotia, and you have PEI as well on the east coast. And at the north, you have Quebec. So what happens is that when I say I'm French Canadian, they always say, "Oh, Quebec." No, I'm not from Quebec. I'm from New Brunswick. And nobody knows about New Brunswick. Not even people from Canada, for God's sake. Okay?
Yeah, I thought it was a Newfoundland. So
yeah, you see, like nobody knows. Like it's actually a province that doesn't have a lot of personality. I think. Like, I mean, it could have done a lot better, but so yeah, like so you always have to explain where you're from and how nobody knows about your place. And then they always try to talk about like Vancouver or Toronto, and I'm like, why do you always bring up places where I've never lived before? Like, what do you expect me to tell you about it? You know? So I always have to dig into like places I've never been before, and also into memories. Like I haven't been in Canada for like 9 years, so I don't know what's happening in Canada now. So it's like, you know, what can I tell them? And that just gets annoying because, like, I've been here for 9 years now. Like, I don't even know what's happening in Canada. So give it a rest already, you know. But yeah, anyway, rant over. So.
No, it is really weird. Like sometimes I have that too. Like where sometimes you just get the random person coming up to you, and like before I even finish saying arigato, oh nihongo jozu, so good. Your English or Japanese is so good. Like I didn't even finish saying anything.
I hope you enjoyed my video of where from loop 219 times.
It was 10 hours, right?
10 hours of where froms. 219 times. I counted them.
A part of me really wanted me to like you put in like little tiny differences like every hour.
I inserted one difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You gotta have to go through 10 hours of video, man.
For some context, made this 10-hour video of what his life is like living in Japan, being asked the question, "Where from?"
And that's where I realized that my whole life in Japan, towards my like my relationship with Japanese people for 9 years, could be summarized in 2 words: "Where from?"
Yeah. What do you think makes this behavior? It's usually elderly people, right?
Mostly, I would say, but you get some younger people as well sometimes, you know. Like if it's a pretty girl, like, oh yeah, I'm from New Brunswick. Jeez, okay, just like runs away. But like, why is it older people? I would say because, like, you know, like I can't somewhat understand, because when you have the elderly, like they've went through like the end of World War II. You know, it was a time when nobody could even imagine of leaving Japan.
True.
And when some people finally had a chance, it was not for everybody anyway. So they're stuck in that country where like you have that one way of thinking, that one language, and while you have some, they actually embrace that, like the nationalists, for example, they want the same everywhere. You have those where they would have preferred a lot more diversity within Japan, which I can agree with because I'm from New Brunswick, where like everybody's French and white and Catholic and listening to country music. That was begging for diversity, and trust me, the first time I saw an Asian person, I'm like, "Where from?" Even though that's totally racist. But yeah, I guess I did the same, and they're doing to me now. So.
I guess it's understandable.
Yeah.
I guess that putting into that context, yes, it does make sense. All right. So I guess, and finally, what should we expect from Remino in terms of the future? So the Remiko thing's gone. You don't longer call yourself a guru. What's the future?
I never called myself guru actually, but
okay. Was that just
it was more like other people, I think, that they like, because I am good at it. I mean, I don't want to sound pretentious, but after 20 years, like I'm not afraid to say this. I know my shit,
Okay.
But as for the other things, I never like to say that I finished or I quit or I ended something. Like the Remiko things, for example. Like I would not be surprised if one day you would have, like, out of nowhere, a new video by Remiko and wondering like what's happening, why did that come up? I'm just like that. Sometimes I take a hiatus in some projects and then come back to it later, where I mix them together, or like transform them into something else. And as to what to expect from me, well, same thing that I've done forever. Like what is it?
No, it's just sort of like same thing I always do. Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, wake up in the morning, taking a shit, going to bed. But yeah, I mean,
what is it that you always do? I mean,
well, what I always do is like every time I have, like, if I want to make a video, just make a video. If I want to write something, I just write something. Like that's pretty much it. Like sometimes I write stories. Like it's mostly I write stories and I produce videos. That you'll always get from me, because since I've been like since elementary, I've been doing that. It's been a long time. The moment I got access to the internet, you can be certain that I've found any way possible to put my shit out there. Wasn't good, but I tried.
Right.
What I would want to happen is, sometimes I write some screenplays, and they never go anywhere. They never go anywhere because they kind of get too big. Like most of the stuff that I make is always by myself. I always produce it on my own. But what I'd love to do is finally get some small teams, like some actors, some people to work for, like in a crew for a production, and make like a short movie, make like maybe like a web series or something. That's one dream that I have right now. I'm hoping that's gonna happen someday.
What kind of a movie would it be? I mean, or series or whatever.
Well, it would be certainly a bit with comedy, because when I try to do something that's not comedy, it's always better under a different name. That's what I do sometimes. Sometimes I don't write, like I write some fiction sometimes, and I use a pen name, and it's in an entirely different world on the internet. I don't want them to be mixed with my Remino brand, because people don't expect me to not make jokes, and I'm okay with like having another two worlds mix. I'm okay with that. But yeah, if I make a short movie or a web series, I would like it to be more like comedy, like probably like an extension of what I'm making on Facebook, which is like you said, writing anecdotes about the life in Japan of a foreigner living here. So I'd love to expand that into like some sort of web production or a video or a movie. That would be nice. I would love to do that.
Okay, and it'd be under the Remino brand.
Of course.
What did you say?
Remino, my face is gonna be there with my weird smile and chuckle and shit.
What did you say? It's like, we're not a brand, we're a personality, or we sell personality.
Like, okay, selling personality, that's too far, but I am a personality. It's the Remino personality. Let's go with that.
All right.
I love the sound of that. It's pretentious, but it's true.
All right. Okay, Remy, anything you want to say before we go?
Anything that I want to say? Anything at all?
Anything.
All right. Well, just watch for me out there. Don't forget me. I'm going to put some shit on YouTube soon. I haven't put anything for a couple of months, but I guess what do you think? I got my green screen up here.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's not green right now, but like for me, it's green. I see green. You don't, but whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good for your brand.
Yeah, exactly. Good for my bread. And go subscribe to my channel and just like, hey, just come and complain to me about how not often I'm putting videos. You know, something. Say something.
All right. Say things. Put words.
Just put words in the comments. Complain. People do that all the time. Although you've seen my video about me like nodding like 30 times, right?
Wait, you did a video? Wait, I think I saw this. The one
You
you're
saw
nodding.
that one. You saw that one. Like I was making fun of Japanese dramas.
Oh.
You know, like when you have that one scene where like that one actor, the one character, I mean, like just like all of a sudden, like they realize like how they were shitty to other people or how like shitty they were doing as a job.
Oh
And
yeah.
then it just like look down. You have like piano music playing. The camera kind of rotates around the guy, just like zooming in his face, and just like he just like looks down, and he goes like, "Oh, I know I did shit before, but I'll do less shit later, and I'll be good, and I'll be good to all of you, and I promise I'll be good." And everybody's just like standing around the guy for some reason, just circling the guy like vultures or something. And it just like look at like then the camera just like switches to every character in the scene, and everybody just like nodding like,
I'd like
like what the hell? So I made fun of that,
weird.
and I thought the green screen worked pretty well in that one. I was pretty proud of that one.
All right, I guess I need to watch it again. I guess if I were to make like a parody spoof of like Japanese dramas, I'd call it "Men Who Cry in the Rain." And just like the whole plot is like just people crying in the rain, like a story told through crying.
Well, I mean, like that's pretty much all you can afford if you want to make your own production, anyways. So might as well just go with it. It has to be shot somewhere in some like on some bridge. I'll forget that. Bridge with a light, with the rain, and yeah, just get some random guy. Just get that salary man that's just like beaten up from all his work. Yeah, that should be okay.
Yeah, we got a go picture. All right, so this was a live recording on YouTube. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you want. I don't know.
If you don't, well, you know, it's up to you. But
yeah, they don't really. They don't. Yeah, they don't offer any other emojis. I mean, that's just the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Yeah. Be sure to leave us 5 stars on Amazon. Oh wait, we're not on Amazon. 5 stars.
Hey, YouTube used to have a rating, like stars.
Yeah, they did. Wonder why they got rid of it.
Yeah, bring them back. Well, they realized like, hey, well, people either just put 1 or 5, so might as well just put thumbs down, thumbs up, and thumbs down. So
true. Yeah. Leave us 5 stars and tell us about what you hated about the show. But just be sure to leave us 5 stars. That's more important than anything else.
Or if you have more to spare, just like give them more.
And do 10 push-ups and eat your vegetables. Rotate your tires. Pay off your student loans.
What if I don't have a car though? I don't have a car.
That's true. I don't have a car either. But I'm just telling people like reminders. You know, the call to action.
Yeah, there you go.
What else? What else do people need to do? Be nice to your mother. Return your videotapes.
Well,
recycle your bottles and cans.
Oh, put the garbage properly outside, or else you get old people complaining at you.
I need the chat help me. Any of them from forgetting? Let's see. 5 stars and video responses. Oh yeah, video responses.
Oh wait, Andy also has an idea about the drama. Oh man, a J drama where the characters go into hysterics over minor inconveniences. Yes.
Like what?
Like especially the school dramas where they just like rotate around like that girl liking that one guy is like, oh, he ate a sandwich today. It was a kawaii desho. What?
They do that.
I don't know what's going on there, but okay. I know what's going on, just don't want to know it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just complaining for nothing now. Don't mind me.
All right. I'm having separation anxiety. Remino, I always get it at the end of
you don't have to go back.
All right.
It's okay.
I don't have to go. All right. I can stay here all night. I can talk about whatever I want. You know, it's my show.
You
But
can.
no. All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for sticking around. Thanks for joining the chat. Remember, the buttons to push. You can push my buttons down below. And we, of course, will see you guys next time.
Thank you for having me.
Or I guess I will see you next time. Probably Remy will see you next time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Go buy Remy's shirt. Go do the
Bye-bye.
thing.
I will do the thing.
Guys, next
Later.
time. Bye.